from Prosper, Texas, and I left the World Healing and Training Center 3 days ago. I did a lecture 2 days ago here, and it was really good. And what we're doing right now is I'm going to show you the person I'm working on. I'm going to show you her back, okay? But first, I want to talk about something. I want you to get this, and please don't get angry and don't get frustrated, but just understand something. They want to keep you crippled for the rest of your life. So yesterday I did a heart release on a beautiful girl. And when I went to go do the heart release, it's funny, but she was watching my videos and she said, Dr. Wolf, I want a heart release. And I go, do you know what that's all about? Where I go in with my elbow, I start here at your solar plexus. I open up your solar plexus. And if you've got a bit of a hiatal hernia, which most people do, most people have a hiatal hernia and they don't even know it. And you'll know it because you get acid all the time, or you get a burning in your lungs, or you get pressure on your heart. And understand something. If you do have a hiatal hernia and you have acid coming up, do know this, that it can cause tracheal cancer, breathing problems, and heart disease. Yeah, that's right. Isn't that something? But don't worry. Don't worry. Don't you dare worry. They're going to give you antacids, which means that will bring down the hydrochloric acid in your stomach, and then you'll digest food even worse, and it'll create more acid later. It can cause ulceration in your stomach, and it'll cause even more problems. Let me tell you something right now. You can get this or not get this, but guess what? The whole health industry is based on the petroleum industry, and the whole health industry is based on they've taken 250 symptoms. Okay, so symptoms in the body. Your body's going to be using pain, it's going to be using swelling, inflammation, and it's going to use stiffness, inflammation, swelling, and redness. And those are the four main things. And depending where in the body you have them, they're going to tell you it's colitis. So you've got colitis. Well, that just means inflammation of the colon. Or they're going to tell you have arthritis, which means inflammation of the joint. Or they're going to tell you have sinusitis, which is inflammation of the sinus. Or they're going to tell you that you have cancer, which is stage 4 inflammation. Now, which one would you like to be told? That you have stage 4 inflammation or stage 4 cancer? So the reality is this: we know cancer is a death sentence. We know stage 4 inflammation. It feels like maybe I can work with this. Maybe I have the intelligence. Okay, first of all, let me just tell you, whether you're talking about the medical system or you're talking about even the natural health system, a lot of health practitioners will talk down to you. They don't mean to. That's the way they've been programmed. We're supposed to talk down to you and make you feel like you're too stupid to know how to feed yourself, too stupid to know how to detox, too stupid to know how to heal your body. And understand the human body is amazing. And whether you want to do this or not, I pull off miracles every time I do therapy. Why do I do it? Because I am the body. Why do I do it? Because I think outside the box. Why do I do it? Because I do not do what I was taught in school. I actually took it and I hacked it. And whether you want to believe it or not, and when I say this, we are teaching thousands of practitioners all over the world, and they're called New World practitioners. And just so you know, I'm closing down the World Healing and Training Center. I've mentioned it before, but why am I doing it? Because I'm going to go on a world tour, and I'm going to tell the world they've been screwed over. They've been ruled, schooled, and fooled. And understand something. Okay, so yesterday I worked on this lady and did a heart release. And when I did the heart release, just know this. She had emotional release through the whole time. And then we're using my elbow, going in and opening up the fibers. You release the issues in your tissues, and those issues in your tissues are killing you. And you know what? If you want to go ahead and suffer, you go ahead and suffer. You go ahead and limp. You go ahead and get yourself a cane, a walker, a wheelchair. Go ahead and put Depends on, because you can't stop dripping in your underwear. That's 47% of the women drip in their underwear all day long. And that's from bladder infections. And the bladder is so infected. But that's because you've been pooping in your pelvis. And just know this, that the majority of the population is always going to eat incorrectly. Okay? And you understand this. The majority of the population is ruled, schooled, and fooled, and they will drug themselves down until they have to get surgery. That's how it works, right? Inflammation, pain, got to get rid of the pain, and you're telling your body to shut up. It's just a GPS. Look, so I worked on her. We opened up her heart, and I'm going to tell you something. We freed her of a lot of the emotional chaos that she actually buried in her heart. Your heart is the recorder of all your love affairs and your emotions. And understand, the only reason why heart disease is the main killer is because nobody knows that they're emotional beings, which means you are a spirit being, and within and around a physical body. I mean, people say, oh, my spirit lives in my body. No, it lives around it. And if you really knew what was going on, science, you'd know your spirit is always coming and fusing into your body. And the more that they can terrorize you, the more your cells will create a thick coating that will not allow your spirit energy in. Did you get that? And it also creates the inflammation, the pain, the swelling, and the stiffness. And understand this. And I may seem like I'm a little bit bold about the way I talk, but just understand, take a good look at me. I'm going to be 67 years old. And the reality is you don't have to be old. You will get older, but you don't have to age like they say. And if you believe, oh my God, I'm doing really good for a 40-year-old. Well, really? Well, guess what? I'm doing really good for a 40-year-old, and I'm going to be 67. So I'm doing better than most 40-year-olds. I feel better and have more energy. And you could do that too if you were to mind your own business and want to get into this. Now, so this morning I worked on a top athlete, and he had a shoulder problem. And Rami's here, but we can talk about that later on another one a day. But Rami, it took me 20 minutes, didn't it?
Yes.
Okay, and this has been going on for months, right?
Yeah.
And it took me 20 minutes to go in with my elbow and go in and release the bicipital groove, release his neck. I went in here. So what you do is you understand the issues are in the tissues, but the secrets are in the joints. And understand you could have pain, a muscle belly, but if you go into the joint on either end, origin, insertion, and you go in and get rid of that crystallization, that calcification, and that scar tissue, I'm going to give you a money back guarantee. You're not going to surgery. I don't care if you're booked next week for spinal surgery, or you're booked for abdominal surgery, or you're booked for a shoulder or an elbow, a knee. It doesn't matter. And you can take it or leave it. You can go, oh, wow, he should be a car salesman. Understand something. You've been ruled, schooled, and fooled. You can go to a chiropractor and they're going to adjust your spine. Okay, they're going to adjust your spine, but it's going to pop back out because of the calcification that's wrapped around the scar tissue that's wrapped around the spine. Okay, you need to get that. Now, this same athlete, okay, he's been lifting heavy weights because he wants to be the best he can be. And I went in and I worked his knee, didn't I? How long did it take me? Half hour?
Yeah.
Half hour
probably.
for the knee?
Yeah.
About a half hour. Okay, so nobody's been able to fix it. And we fixed the knee. I fixed his shoulder. Okay, and now their family has a wake-up call. Okay, all these physios, okay, all these medical doctors, okay, all of these so-called specialists are not specialists. Okay, if you want to be well, then you better look at whole body healing, and that's WHOLE, not HOLE. Do you understand? You got to, for whole body healing. Remember, I'm mainly tissue, right? And when you got issues in your tissues, your fibers stick together and then they get dehydrated and they shrink down. I've got a knot in my neck, a knot in my back. And I don't really care. I care for you, but I don't really care the problem you have. I'll give you a money back guarantee. We're going to prove to you the first treatment. Now I'm going to show you something right now. Okay. So I'm going to pick this up. Now take a look. Okay. Hold on here. I don't see here. I'm going to do this. Okay. So I'm working on this beautiful lady's back right now. I want you to take a look. It's hard to see here. Okay, see her back? You see how it ridges up like this? Well, believe it or not, this side here, okay, this side here was this much higher. Okay, you're her husband, right, Tim?
Right.
Can you tell the difference of what's going on? Can you tell us what have I done in just one treatment?
You reduced it.
I reduced this, didn't I?
Yeah.
So this side was way higher. Okay, way higher. Wasn't it, Rami?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I brought that down and now it's level. Now this was a huge hump and this was crippling her. Understand. Now yesterday, just so you know, yesterday I had a lady here and she had a Dodgers hump. Like that's right up on the back of the neck. And we brought that right down, didn't we?
Yes.
Okay, and I did that in 10 minutes. Understand something. There is nothing that you have that you can't reverse if you want to take massive personal action and not believe that that you're crippled or that you can't get healed or that. Just understand something. The whole medical system is based on falsehood. I'm not trying to do that. I've never taken drugs. I'm not trying to tell you that surgery, emergency surgery is not important, because it truly is important. Because if you get in a car accident or you get a sports injury, but understand something, and you need to get this, 90 to 95% of all surgeries never had to be done. And yet, let me tell you something. You want to call that the healthcare system? Well, healthcare system is where you know how to eat, drink, and think properly. It's where you become the master of your own body. Now, I want you to understand this. Everybody's becoming beef jerky. Now, have you ever eaten beef jerky? Why don't you just go chew on a piece? Go chew on a piece. See how tough that is. The human body, same way. Most people think that when they get scar tissue, it's from surgery or it's from like a sports injury or a car accident. Okay, whether you believe this or not, 95% of all the scar tissue you have is because of inflammation in the brain, because you have anxiety and stress and you don't know how to calm down. You actually believe the end of the world's coming and you watch the news. You believe all that BS that everybody's just vomiting all over you. Okay, because everybody's fearful pretty well. Guess what? I'm not buying into any fear. It doesn't matter what goes on. I'm not going to do that because if I heat my brain up, okay, then I'm going to create inflammation. I'm going to dump adrenaline, cortisol, and I'm going to dump histamine. It's going to make me acidic. My brain will go on fire. So I'll either go into depression or I'll have some kind of nervous breakdown. Which one do you want? Okay, because your brain can't heat up. And there's no such thing as depression. Your brain has to shut down because it's just a computer and you overheated it with the wrong programs. If the wrong programs are you not knowing how to love and care for yourself. And that's the deal. So I'm just going to tell you something. I'm going to work on the rest of her back. And what she thought she could never fix, we're going to fix. Now, understand, you can have a big hump in your back. You can have scoliosis. You can have kyphosis. They can tell you that they're going to have to fuse your spine. They can tell you that you have a slip disc, which there is no such thing. It's just inflammation of the disc. And we can renew that. How many people out there know that, you know what? Oh my gosh, I've lost 2 inches. I'm 2 inches shorter. Well, it wasn't because you have bone calcium loss and your head's smaller. It's because all the discs, okay, all the discs in between the vertebrae got inflamed because of pooping in your pelvis. Whether you want to believe that or not, everybody's got bad bowel problems. You know, the athlete that was here this morning said the mother goes, he doesn't have any bowel problems. He's in the toilet all the time. I said, you know why he's in the toilet all the time? Because he's in there straining, trying to push it out. And I go, do you grunt when you go to the washroom? He goes, yeah, sometimes. I said, not sometimes, all the time. You did it enough that you not even aware of it. I said, look at, okay, so you're 18 years old, okay, and guess what? You work out all the time. You're a top athlete. Why all this fat? Well, the reason why he's got fat on him, I said, look at, if you were working out all the time and eating right, you'd be a lean, keen muscle machine, okay, or you'd be a big muscle machine. But because you don't eat properly, okay, the infection comes in, creates the inflammation, and the infection and the inflammation has to make fat. I said, come on, you're 18 years old, okay? He works out how much? Like 2 to 4 hours a day, okay? And he's a top athlete, and he is a top athlete. I said, do you know what would happen if you actually knew how to cleanse your colon, detoxify your liver, and if you actually weren't so inflamed, you wouldn't have the shoulder problem, you wouldn't have the knee problem. So wherever you're stressing